Hey, another great one by Jim Rohn. 4 straightforward steps to success. I think these are really great ideas for everybody, just to remind us of what we should be doing and what we should be focusing on in order to become successful. He said, I've said it before that success is the study of the obvious, but sometimes we need someone to remind us and show us the simplest way to get there. Here are 4 simple steps to find your way to more success than you could ever imagine. Number 1, collect good ideas. He said, my mentor taught me to keep a journal when I was 25 years old. It's the best collecting place for all of the ideas and information that comes your way, and that inspiration will be passed on to my children and my grandchildren. If you hear a good idea, health idea, capture it, write it down. Then on a cold wintry evening or a balmy summer night, go back to your journal, drive back into the ideas that changed your life and the ideas that saved your marriage, the ideas that bailed you out of hard times, the ideas that helped you become successful. That's valuable. Going back over the pages of ideas you gathered over the years, reminiscing, reminding yourself to be a collector of good ideas, of experiences for your business, for your relationships, for your future. It's challenging to be a student of your own life, your own future, your own destiny. Don't trust your memory. When you listen to something valuable, write it down. When you come across something important, write it down. Take the time to keep notes and to keep a journal. Number 2, have good plans. Building a life, building anything is like building a house. You need to have a plan. What if you just started laying bricks and somebody asks, what are you building? You put down the bricks you're holding and say, I have no idea. So here's the question. When should you start building the house? Answer, as soon as you have it finished. It's simple time management. Don't start the day until it's pretty well finished, at least the outline of it. Leave some room to improvise. Leave some room for extra strategies, but finish it before you start it. Don't start the week until you have it finished. Lay it out, structure it, put it to work. The same goes for the month ahead. Don't start until you have a plan in place. In other words, don't start anything until you have the final result in mind. You know what that looks like. You know what it feels like. You can visualize it. Have it all finished before you start. Before you start your day, have it all finished. Let me just point this. One of the things that I've always done that's helped me immensely is never going to bed without having the following day finished. In other words, everything I was going to do, what my plan was, who I was going to call, what if I had to work on a speech, when I was going to do that, or if I had to follow up with a client, when I was going to do that, or whatever. Everything was, hour by hour. I had it all planned out from morning, 8 in the morning until 10 or 11 or 12 o'clock midnight. I had all the hours planned out, exactly what I was going to do, including family time, including things that I was going to do, not necessarily business related, but all things planned out. That way you become super productive. You don't waste any time. More importantly, you don't let other people waste your time. And the big one, don't start the year until it's finished on paper. It's not a bad idea toward the end of the year to sit down with your family for personal plans, to sit down in your business for the professional plans, to sit down with your financial advisor to map out money plans. Plan out your calendar, your game plan for all of life's moving parts. The reason why most people face the future with apprehension instead of anticipation is because they don't have it well designed. They don't have it planned out. Number 3, give yourself time. It takes time to build a career. It takes time to make changes. It takes time to learn, to grow, to change, to develop, and produce. It takes time to refine philosophy and activity. So give yourself time to learn, time to start some momentum, time to finally achieve. I know for me, when I decided that I was going to become successful, it really was when I really made the conscious decision to do that. I want to become wealthy. It was 1979. I just graduated from college, and I was in the retail jewelry business, and I just decided, I did not like working for somebody. I hated it, and I wanted to be really successful. And the job I had was, as far as jobs go, I guess, a decent job. Back then I was making about $55,000 a year, which today would equate to maybe $150,000 a year. This was a long time ago, 1979, 78, 80, 81 to 84, and I decided, that I was going to become successful. And I knew it was going to take time. And even though I was working my tail off, I was reading at least a minimum of a book a week. I did that for many, many, many years, for decades. And I was going to seminars, and I was, just listening to audio programs. I was doing everything I could to prepare myself to be successful. I hadn't yet found my current business, but I was thinking I knew that I was going to find something at some point, and I wanted to be prepared. But from that time, 1979, I worked my tail off. I worked on myself harder than I worked on anything else, and I didn't really start making any real money until 1987. So from 1979 to 8 years it took me. I gave myself a chance. I gave myself time. It didn't happen overnight, but all of a sudden, in 1987, everything came together, and my income just exploded. And then from there, it just kept growing and growing. And today, I have a very substantial business and have made, a lot of money, and achieved, the vast majority of all my financial dreams. And so it's not going to happen overnight for you. It's going to seem like it's a plateau for a long time, but you just keep working on yourself, keep growing your skill sets, keep growing your knowledge base. Keep growing, get better, so things can get better. He says, I remember when Mama was teaching me a little bit about the piano. Here's the left-hand scale. She said, I got that. It was easy. Here's the right-hand scale. I got that, too. She said, now we're going to play both hands at the same time. Well, how can you do that, I asked, because one at a time was easy, but two at the same time? But I got to where I could play the scales with both hands. Now we're going to read the music and play with both hands. She said, you can do all that. I thought, but sure enough, I looked at the music, looked at each hand, a little confused at first, but finally I grasped it. Then I remember the day when my mama said, now we're going to watch the audience, read the music, and play with both hands. Now that is going too far, I thought. How could one person possibly do all that? I given myself time to master one skill before we went to the next. I got to where I could watch the audience, read the music, and play with both hands. Life is not just the passing of time. Life is a collection of experiences and their intensity. And I think everything, I know even like when presenting, I know most people when they're presenting, in my business, when they first start, they're reading everything off the thing because they don't really have it down. But at some point, if you work at it hard enough and you master and you master your presentation, you got it down so well that you don't even need to look at what's in front of you, which I got to the point where I was able to really watch how people were responding to what I was saying. If they were like getting it, you could see if they're confused. You could see, I could pay attention not only to them and how they were processing what I was saying, so I could adjust my presentation or maybe go over something that they looked like they were confused one more time, or I could ask questions that could help them. I got to the point where I could do that without even thinking about it. And everyone can do that, but it just takes practice and repetition. Number 4, change yourself. This is the biggest thing that all of us need to learn how to do, is to change ourselves, because you're not going to get where you want to go with who you are right now. You're going to have to grow and change. And change is not a bad thing, and it's not that there's anything wrong with you now, but there's skill sets and thought processes and behavior that has to change for you to change your circumstances. So learn to solve problems, business problems, family problems, financial problems, emotional problems. The best way to treat a challenge as an opportunity to grow. Change if you have to, modify if you must, discard an old philosophy that wasn't working well for a new one. Change your beliefs. A lot of times the beliefs you have are holding you back from what you could become. You believe things that maybe aren't enriching you or helping you. The best phrase my mentor ever gave me, he said, Mr. Rohn, if you will change, everything will change for you. I took that to heart, and sure enough, the more I improved, the more everything improved for me. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. I know that's true for me. I had to make a lot of changes. I was very shy and introverted, and that didn't help me in the business I'm in, where you're prospecting and doing presentations and speaking in front of public. It was very, very difficult. I had to make a lot of changes in me over the years in order to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. But the truth is, everyone's capable of change. You're capable of change. You can change your life. It's not going to happen overnight. Give yourself time, but it will happen.